The apartment living comes with rules, but these aren't about noise complaints or trash collection. These rules are warnings. Ignore them, and you might not live to regret it. From flickering lights to cursed elevators and whispers and garbage chutes. Some tenants break the rules and never come back. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more scary stories. When Nathan first moved into the Ridgeview apartments, he thought the place was perfect. Rent was cheap, the building was old but clean, and the landlord, a wiry man named Mr. Alvarez, gave him a firm handshake with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. On his first night, Nathan rode the rickety elevator up to the 10th floor. That's when he noticed something strange. A laminated card taped to the inside wall, just above the floor buttons. The text was typed in bold block letters. Rules for elevator use. Do not use the elevator after midnight. Never look directly at the mirror between the 7th and 8th floors. If you see another person in the reflection, do not acknowledge them. If they wave, you must wave back. Failure to do so will allow them to follow you into your unit. Nathan chuckled. It had to be a prank, maybe some leftover urban legend from bored tenants. Still, he couldn't help but glance at the full-length mirror that covered one wall. His reflection stared back, pale, tired, but normal. Over the next week, Nathan used the elevator daily. Sometimes late at night after work, sometimes during the day. Nothing strange happened. He almost forgot about the rules. Until Friday night. Nathan stayed out late with coworkers, returning home a little after 1 a.m. He was tipsy, exhausted, and just wanted to collapse in bed. He staggered into the lobby and pressed the call button for the elevator, not even thinking about the laminated rules. The elevator groaned its way down, doors opening with a metallic screech. Nathan stepped inside, hit 10, and leaned back against the mirror. The ride was slow. The lights overhead flickered faintly as the numbers climbed. 3, 4, 5. When it hit 7, the elevator shuddered. The lights dimmed, and Nathan glanced instinctively at the mirror. At first, it was just his reflection. Same clothes, same tired expression. But then it twitched, not like a flicker of light, not like a trick of his eyes. His reflection's mouth twitched upward into a smile, while Nathan's face remained neutral. His stomach dropped. He remembered the rule. Never look at the mirror between the 7th and 8th floors. The reflection's smile widened unnaturally, stretching too far across its face. Then slowly, its hand rose into a wave. Nathan froze. He should have waved back. He knew it. His heart hammered as the card's words flashed in his head. But he didn't. He couldn't move. The elevator dinged for the 8th floor, and the reflection's smile snapped back to a blank stare. When the doors opened again at the 10th, Nathan bolted out, sprinting down the hall to his unit. He slammed the door, locked it, and leaned against it, heart pounding. He told himself it wasn't real. Just exhaustion and alcohol. Just his imagination. But when he passed the hallway mirror by his bathroom, he swore, just for a second, that his reflection's lips were still curled into that same too-wide smile. That night, Nathan dreamed of someone standing at the foot of his bed, tall, with his face, grinning. He woke drenched in sweat. His apartment was silent, but something felt off. The air seemed heavier. Over the next few days, he began noticing little things. His toothbrush was wet before he used it. His fridge door would be slightly open in the morning. The hallway mirror sometimes caught a shape moving behind him when he was alone. Nathan tried to ignore it, but the feeling of being watched never left. Then, 3 nights later, came the knock. At exactly 3:15 a.m., a slow, deliberate knock echoed through his apartment door. Knock, knock, knock. He sat up in bed, heart in his throat. Nobody should be visiting at this hour. The knocks came again, louder this time. He crept to the door, pressing his ear against it. Silence. Against his better judgment, he looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. But when he pulled back, he caught sight of something in the mirror across the room. A figure standing behind him, pale and smiling. He spun around. Nothing. By now, Nathan was barely sleeping. He dreaded the elevator, but stairs weren't an option. The stairwell door was always padlocked. A week later, after another long shift, he stepped into the elevator again. His hands trembled as he pressed 10. The ride was quiet. Too quiet. When the elevator passed the 7th floor, Nathan squeezed his eyes shut. He wouldn't look at the mirror. He wouldn't make the same mistake. But curiosity clawed at him. Against every instinct, his eyes flicked open. The reflection was waiting. This time, it wasn't standing where he was. It was closer to the glass, as if pressed against the other side, grinning so wide its cheeks cracked. Its hand rose again, fingers twitching in a wave. Nathan's throat went dry. He forced his trembling hand up and waved back. For a moment, nothing happened. Relief washed over him. Maybe it was enough. Maybe he had fixed it. Then the reflection laughed. The sound didn't come from the mirror. It came from inside the elevator, right behind him. Nathan whipped around. The elevator was empty. When he turned back to the mirror, his reflection was gone. The doors opened on the 10th floor, but the hallway outside looked wrong. Walls stained, lights flickering, the carpet wet with something dark. And standing at the far end of the hall was himself, waving. The next morning, Mr. Alvarez, the landlord, found Nathan's unit unlocked, lights still on, bed untouched. The only thing left was the laminated card from the elevator, lying on the kitchen counter. But now there was one more line added, written in fresh black ink. If you forget to wave back, they take your place. When Alex moved into the Crestwood apartments, the building already felt like something out of another era. The hallways were long, narrow, lined with peeling wallpaper, and lit by buzzing fluorescent tubes that looked like they hadn't been changed in decades. During his first week, he learned the residents were odd. They kept to themselves, always hurrying past each other without small talk. And when he did catch someone's eye, there was a strange tension behind their polite smiles. It wasn't until Mrs. Rourke, the hunched gray-haired woman in 5B, cornered him in the stairwell that he heard about the rules. "You're on the 8th floor, aren't you?" she rasped. Her breath smelled of mothballs and stale tea. "Yes, ma'am," Alex replied cautiously. She grabbed his sleeve, her grip surprisingly strong. "Then you listen to me, boy. If the hallway lights flicker 3 times in a row, you lock your door. Right away. Don't look, don't listen, don't even breathe too loud. And don't peek through the peephole." Alex laughed nervously, waiting for the punchline. But her milky eyes held no humor. "I'm serious," she whispered. "Wait until sunrise. Only then is it safe." She released him and shuffled away, leaving Alex with the cold pit in his stomach. Weeks went by. Nothing unusual happened, aside from the usual creaks and groans of an aging building. Alex chalked the warning up to eccentric superstition. But then came the night in late September. Alex was up late, scrolling on his phone when the lights in his apartment flickered. He barely noticed at first, but then he realized. The whole hallway outside was flashing through the crack beneath his door. Once, twice, 3 times. He froze. His mind replayed Mrs. Rourke's words. The air grew heavy, charged, as though the electricity in the building had been sucked out. Then silence. Not the usual hum of the fridge or the distant TV from a neighbor's unit. Just silence. Then it started. Knock, knock, knock. It came from his door. 3 sharp raps that rattled his chest. Alex held his breath. But then, knock, 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 from the apartment next door. Then the one across the hall. Then further down. Within seconds, it spread across the entire 8th floor. A storm of knuckles pounding wood. Every door at once, in perfect rhythm. Alex clamped a hand over his mouth. He wanted to look through the peephole. His curiosity burned, but Mrs. Rourke's warning screamed in his mind. Don't look. The knocking continued. Louder now, synchronized, shaking the walls. He swore he heard faint whispers woven between the thuds, raspy voices calling names, but not his. Neighbors' names. A scream erupted from down the hall. Someone had looked. The knocking stopped instantly. The silence was worse. Then came a dragging sound, like something heavy scraping against the floor. Alex trembled, pressing his ear to the door despite himself. A wet, gurgling cry echoed. Then silence. His phone buzzed, startling him. A text notification lit the screen. Unknown number. Don't open the door! Please, Alex's blood ran cold. His thumbs shook as he typed back. Who is this? 3 dots appeared, like the sender was typing. Then, too late! The hallway lights flickered again. Once, twice, 3 times. The knocking returned. This time faster, more frantic, like dozens of fists slamming against wood. His walls shook, dust fell from the ceiling. Then, a sound that made Alex's heart stop. The deadbolt on his door clicked. He lurched forward, grabbing the lock. It was turning on its own. He twisted it back desperately, holding it in place. Whatever was on the other side twisted harder, rattling the door against its frame. Alex whispered to himself, "Don't look! Don't look! Don't look!" But then he heard it. His own voice. Alex. It came from the hallway, muffled through the door. His stomach lurched. Alex, it's me. Open up number. It wasn't him. It was off. Too smooth. Too calm. Then another voice joined. His mother's voice. Honey, please. Open the door. His mother lived 3 states away. Hands trembling, he backed away from the door. The voices grew angrier, overlapping, begging, demanding. The pounding intensified. And then, silence. He waited. 1 minute, 2. His knees wobbled as he crept closer to the door. Against everything in him, his eye drifted to the peephole, and he looked. At first, nothing. The hallway was dark, still. Then a face appeared. It wasn't human. Its features were smeared, stretched too wide, skin pale and glistening like wet clay. Its eyes were hollow sockets, and its grin, God, the grin, reached ear to ear, teeth like cracked glass. It pressed closer, filling the peephole entirely. And then, it waved. Alex stumbled back, heart thundering. He collapsed against the couch, gasping, eyes fixed on the door. He didn't move until sunlight streamed through his blinds. When he finally checked, the hallway looked normal, quiet, empty. Except for one detail. Every door on the 8th floor had 3 bloody handprints smeared across them, except his. Alex packed that morning, but as he dragged his suitcase down the hall, he noticed something taped to the elevator door. A new laminated card. In bold letters. If the hallway lights flicker 3 times, You must lock yourself in your apartment immediately. Do not peek through the peephole. Do not check the noise outside. Wait until sunrise. If you see it wave, you must wave back. Alex's hand trembled as the elevator dinged open, and from the corner of his eye, he saw the lights flicker. When Daniel moved into the Harper Towers, the building manager, a tired man with jaundiced eyes, handed him 2 sets of papers, the lease agreement and a laminated list of rules. The lease didn't surprise him. The rules did. Typed in a simple courier font, they read like something between fire safety guidelines and an urban legend. Always lock your door by 11 p.m. sharp. Never use the laundry room on Sundays. If the elevator stops between floors, don't press the alarm button. Wait. Do not, under any circumstances, use the garbage chute after midnight. If you hear someone climbing inside, ignore it. Never try to help. Daniel chuckled when he first read them, assuming it was some inside joke the building passed on to spook new tenants. He'd lived in enough cheap apartments to know superstitions ran wild in places like these. But that last one, the garbage chute rule, lingered in his head. He pictured some junkie who got stuck in there years ago, haunting the tenants as a kind of boogeyman tale. By his second month, Daniel stopped paying attention to the rules. Until the night of June 14th. It was hot and humid, the kind of night where sleep felt impossible. Daniel sat on his couch, drinking a warm beer and half watching reruns, when he noticed the pile of takeout boxes stacked on his kitchen counter. They smelled bad. He remembered the rule. The laminated card, taped to the back of his front door. Do not use the garbage chute after midnight. He checked the time. 12:27 a.m. He hesitated. What was the worst that could happen? He could either try to sleep in a sweltering apartment reeking of spoiled rice and grease, or he could toss it all down the chute and be done with it. Grumbling at his own paranoia, Daniel tied the bags together and stepped into the hallway. The building was dead quiet. The fluorescent light above his door flickered faintly. The garbage chute was at the far end of the hall, a dented metal door with a black handle. He pulled it open and tossed the bag inside. The clatter of boxes echoed as they slid down the shaft. Then came another sound. Scrape. At first, Daniel thought it was just the bag catching against the side of the chute. But then it grew louder, rhythmic, deliberate. Scrape, clang, scrape, clang. It wasn't falling, it was climbing. Daniel's stomach turned. He froze, his hand still on the handle, as the noise drew closer. Something was dragging itself up the chute. He let go and staggered back. The door rattled. Metal creaked under weight. And then, a voice. Faint, echoing through the shaft. Help! Me! Daniel's chest tightened. The voice was wet, broken, almost childlike. Please, pull me out! Every rational thought screamed at him to run back inside, to lock his door, to obey the rule. But his feet rooted to the spot. He leaned forward just slightly, peering at the chute door. His pulse hammered. The voice came again, clearer now. Please, it's so dark. Against his better judgment, Daniel gripped the handle and pulled the chute open a crack. For a moment, all he saw was black. Then fingers, thin, pale, slick with something dark, curled over the rim. Nails chipped, skin stretched too tight, like something dead had learned how to move again. Daniel yelped and slammed the chute shut, the metal banging against the frame. The fingers withdrew, scraping against the steel. The voice rose, no longer pleading. You shouldn't have looked! The chute boomed as something slammed against it from inside. Once, twice. The entire wall vibrated. Daniel bolted, sprinting back to his apartment, fumbling his keys, and locking the door. He sat with his back pressed against it, gasping as the hallway filled with a noise that made his stomach turn. A wet, sliding scrape. Something was crawling through the building's walls. The following morning, Daniel convinced himself it had been exhaustion, maybe even a waking dream. But when he stepped into the hall, he noticed something that made his skin crawl. The garbage chute door hung slightly ajar. Dark streaks smeared the rim, like blood dragged by fingers. He packed his trash differently after that, hauling it to the street instead of using the chute. For a week, things were quiet. Then, at 12:32 a.m., it started again. Daniel was brushing his teeth when he heard it through the bathroom vent. Scrape, clang, scrape, clang. The sound of something climbing. His reflection in the mirror paled as the voice followed, echoing through the walls. Daniel. This time it wasn't asking for help. It was calling his name. He stopped sleeping much after that. Every night, the noises grew louder. Every night, the thing in the walls seemed closer. He thought about leaving, breaking the lease, but part of him feared it was too late. And then came the night of June 28th. He woke at 3:15 a.m. to silence. Too much silence. No creaking pipes, no humming fridge. Then from the kitchen came the metallic squeal of hinges, the garbage chute. Daniel crept out of bed, clutching a baseball bat. His apartment was pitch black, but the glow from the hall leaked through the crack beneath his door. And then he heard it, breathing. Not outside, inside. Slow, rattling, wet. He raised the bat, hands shaking. His eyes darted to the kitchen. The chute door stood wide open, swaying slightly. Something stood beside it. Tall. Wrong. Its limbs bent at odd angles, skin stretched thin and glistening. Its face, or where a face should have been, was smooth, pale, with a slit of a mouth that curled into a smile too wide to belong to anything human. In its hand dangled a crushed takeout box. His takeout box. Daniel bolted for the door, fumbling with the locks, yanking it open. But the hallway was worse. Every chute door on every floor was open. And from the shafts, dozens of pale faces peered out, all smiling. The last thing Daniel heard before the door slammed behind him was the voice from the chute whispering, "Never try to help.